Hello, everyone. Bright and early here in California, and a perfect way to kick off my day. So super excited to talk about how you can use intelligent document processing and Anypoint Partner Manager together to drive end-to-end order management process. Before I get started, as always, this presentation contains forward-looking information, so please make your purchasing decision based on products that are generally available. With that, my name is Ray Liao, and I am the PMM leading our automation products. I'm joined by John Vincent, our Principal Specialist SE. Thank you, John, for joining us. And yeah, as you might be aware of, IDP went GA a few weeks ago on April 29th. April 29th, I can really speak this early. And today we'll be diving into a specific use case for order management, which is actually powered by Anypoint Partner Manager. And then John will be demoing this use case live, which is super exciting. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's talk about the current challenge in the order management world today. With EDI being the most prominent channel for order management transactions, the connectivity to backend applications is key because providers want to bridge the gaps for their customers who need support across multiple commerce channels and a seamless integration with various systems that are required to manage their business ecosystem. This support can span across every stage of the commerce and the supply chain lifecycle. To that end, organizations are in need of a holistic B2B integration solution that supports both API and EDI-based business transactions. They need an automated method to ingest data from unstructured data formats like PDFs and images, and the better way to do this is through out-of-the-box solutions and tools that can seamlessly connect to common order management systems and other key downstream applications like their ERPs. The good news is that MuleSoft has addressed all these challenges with our automation products and accelerators for both B2C and B2B connectivity. So Anypoint Partner Manager is the foundation of this. Partner Manager is a cloud-native, low-code B2B integration platform, enabling enterprises to build B2B integrations via transactional EDI as well as other modern APIs. Partner Manager is built to help enterprises to modernize the way they handle their B2B transactions because historically, legacy B2B products have not been always friendly to our business users. Now, Partner Manager's low-code experience helps to democratize this experience and enable the business users to step in without having to largely depend on the IT teams. So with Partner Manager, organizations are able to accelerate their partner onboarding process. They can also future-proof their B2B connectivity strategy and get the tools they need for visibility into their operational and business insights. On the other hand, So on the other hand, intelligent document processing is the latest addition to our automation portfolio. I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with our offerings, but in case you don't, we launched our automation product line back in August 2022. And our goal is really to provide our customers with an end-to-end automation solution that not only automates the simple tasks, but your entire workflows across your processes, your systems, and every team. And we provide our customers with a complete unified platform where you can access the right tools for the right job seamlessly. And we've designed our IDP with this in mind. We really go beyond simple document automation like many other vendors do and focus on integrating documents as a component with your entire ecosystem that can automate your process end to end. And we believe that IDP is not just about processing the documents. It is really about making use of those data that are previously trapped in the documents. And MuleSoft IDP is fully integrated with our suite of tools with Anypoint Partner Manager, with RPA, so you can take immediate actions on your extracted data and use IDP directly as an invocable API that works with your other downstream systems, no matter it's your ERP, your Salesforce OMS, or any other legacy systems for your order management process. It also comes with pre-trained models for the most common document types like invoices and purchase orders in your order management workflow, and also natural language tooling so that you can minimize the training and configuration time needed for your implementation. And what's even more exciting is that this is powered by Einstein. The feature will be in pilot in summer this year. So this is really going to be huge for our customers because it will give the customers the ability to process a wider range of document types using natural language tools, so that you don't have to rely on pre-trained models or templates for every other document types. We're actually recruiting pilot customers for this. So if your organization or your customers are interested in joining the pilot, let us know, and we would love to get in touch with you. So that's a very quick overview of what the solutions are behind the scenes. But now let's get into the most exciting part, which is actually the demo and the use case. So I'm going to pass it over to John to showcase the demo in real life.
All right, I need to share my screen. So I think you're gonna, okay, perfect. And we'll go here. All right. You guys can see my screen okay? All right, so I think I've been told everybody here is familiar with Anypoint platform. You guys are familiar with MuleSoft and Anypoint Studio and applications. So for this use case that Ray talked about, we're going to be diving into intelligent document processing with Partner Manager. But to set up the stage for the use case, I want to show a few slides here and kind of set up the stage. Okay, so for this demo, we're going to be focusing on intelligent document processing. And in the ecosystem of buyers and sellers exchanging documents, traditionally structured documents have always been used. X12 Edifact, XML, and so forth. Partner Manager supports JSON and CSV and XML, which I guess is a little more new compared to the traditional X12 Edifact EDI documents. So now we have other types of documents that customers want to use, like PDFs and images and things like that. So this is where intelligent document processing comes in. And so in this demo, we're going to show how Partner Manager, how Partner Manager is taking input from both structured and unstructured documents and taking that into our backend ERP systems. Right. So in this case, we're going to use SAP, but overall, I think you get the idea that it's going to be like a single pane of glass for handling all these different types of documents. Okay, so in this demo, we're going to be taking, first I'll show structured documents going through Partner Manager. And basically it's going to take different types of structured documents. And the Partner Manager is acting as a manufacturer called Mythical. So that's the customer we're simulating. And Mythical will be receiving these documents. These are purchase orders, right? That these different companies are going to want to get items from Mythical. And so Partner Manager will take those structured documents and then turn them into a kind of a canonical JSON on the back. And that will be sent to a process API in MuleSoft that will then send it down to SAP as an ERP, and I'll also notify that a PO has been processed using Slack. So it's a nice way to automate the notification. Okay, then we're going to highlight intelligent document processing. And in this case, we're going to start with a PDF purchase order. This is from a customer called Gadgets World. And that'll be sent, in our case, it'll be sent over SFTP. So we've got a Mule app that'll read from the SFTP, send that data to the IDP API, and the intelligent document processing will process the PDF and parse it and send that payload into Partner Manager. And once again, Partner Manager will just transform that into the canonical JSON and process it just like any of the other structured documents. So that's the nice thing about this architecture, is that we can handle all these different types of documents, and we're reusing this process API for every trading partner that we're dealing with. Okay, so that's setting the stage for the demo, let's go ahead and get into the demo, and we're going to start with these structured business documents and kind of walk through those. Okay, so here we are in Anypoint platform, and we're going to go to Partner Manager here. And within Partner Manager, and I don't know if this community has been oriented around Partner Manager yet, but this is the host configuration screen where I can set up all the attributes I want about Mythical, right? So I've got a payload storage API that I implement where all the documents are stored. I set up my identifiers, and these are like addresses for Mythical, both for AS2 and for Edifact. And we've got some reference IDs for some unstructured documents and so forth. We also have the certs for AS2 that we have in here, and adding and modifying any of these is just done through like a wizard style interface. So it's just, I'm just, able to be a business analyst and work with Anypoint Partner Manager. So that's the idea here. Setting up new endpoints and message types, and even like message attributes. Message attributes are things that are pulled out of the documents. So you put a little data weave mapping. This is called this reference mapping here. And that tells Partner Manager how to find these different attributes inside the message. Like for PO here, if we look into this data weave, we can see the custom attributes here. So it's like purchase order number, and we can see within this 850 document, or actually this is the JSON, it's going to look for B2B message data, purchase order number. So in the buyer email and so forth. So that's how that works. And then we have the global settings for Mythical, for AS2 and Edifact. So that's the host. We also have where partners are set up. And so there's a bunch of different partners here in this environment, a bunch of different trading partners. We'll be working with Gadgets World and some other partners today. So if you look at Gadgets World, we're doing unstructured documents. So we're using a reference ID called Gadgets World, and that'll actually be pulled out of the PDF. And then we've got an endpoint that is the SFTP that we're going to be sending a POAC back to Gadgets World that's been defined. So it's pretty straightforward to set up a partner. There's no certs because we're not using AS2 with Gadgets World. And different partners, and I'll just look at one more that we'll be working with, Alps. So Alps is one that we will be exchanging AS2 documents with. So we have an AS2 identity called Partner A. And we have like a GS header called Alps Inc. And I think there's a ISA identifier Alps Inc. as well. So those will be the kind of the addresses for the messages coming from Alps. And once again, we have certificates, and we've got a few different ways that we're communicating with Alps through these different endpoints. So after defining the host configuration and the partners, then we set up these things called message flows. And the message flows are ways that we can define how documents are coming from different partners and to different partners. So if I look at Gadgets World again, I don't think I spelled that right. Hang on, let's just look for Gadgets World down here. Gadgets, oh yeah. Gadgets World. Okay, so here's the flow where the custom PO JSON is coming from my Mule app into Partner Manager. And so it's first you set up a listener. Where's the document coming from into Partner Manager? And here we've selected an HTTP source. And I can look at this. It's basically got this URL here that's defined by a process that is actually started by Partner Manager. I didn't have to write this. It's actually initiated by Partner Manager. and then the message type, which is this OTB PO ACK here, and the identifiers. I'm not actually modifying this, but then I'm sending it back to Gadgets World here as a PO ACK over SFTP. So I can see the folder that I'm going to send it to on that SFTP server, and here's the host import and all that stuff. So that's really the flow. It's just this simple end-to-end flow, and then I can just deploy it through this one button click here. So that's what a message flow is, and so they're fairly straightforward to set up. And then once it's all configured, then I can look at activity. So let's go ahead and show a few structured documents, and we'll start here with I'm going to use Postman. And I'll be sending a document from Alps, and hopefully this isn't, hopefully you can see this okay, but we've got here an X12 850 EDI document. This is a 4010 EDI, and I'm basically going to send this over HTTP. I've got an AS2, a Mule app that's got a listener from HTTP, so I can use Postman. But then it's going to use our AS2 connector to send it to Partner Manager. So I just hit send here, and you can see the PO is being generated by Postman based on the timestamp. So my purchase order number is going to be kind of dynamic. So okay, so it's been sent, and here in my response, I can get my message delivery notice from AS2. So this is my MDN, and this is actually, for non-repudiation. You can see that document's been sent. All right, so let's look at Partner Manager, and I'm in the Activity tab now. And if I refresh this, I can see that there was an 850 that was delivered to Partner Manager. Also, I can look at Slack, and if I look at Slack here, I'm going to see a Slack message. I'm just pulling up my Slack here. Here's Slack, and scroll down to the bottom. You can see that I got an order to cash notification from the partner Alps, and there's my purchase order number. So PO 17164 ends in 74013. Let's just correlate that here. So that's the same PO that was received by Partner Manager, ends in 74013. So it's just, this example is that a nice way to, like, hey, if I'm at Starbucks and I'm getting my morning coffee, because like maybe Ray is thinking like, I need a morning coffee now because it's early in California. She could actually get these notifications like, hey, there's a purchase order coming in. This could be important. And I can even drill through it here with this message link. So I'm now going to see the transmission for that document that came in, or actually the message. So from Partner Managers, we drill into this document. We can get a summary, and we have things like the message IDs, transmission IDs, and the flow that it came from. I can see that it sent a 997 back. Here's this purchase order number. This is my custom attribute that was pulled out of that document. So it's really nice as an operator to be able to see that purchase order number and the buyer email. So I can contact them if I need to. I also get a chance to see the source and the target payload. So if the source we've kind of seen in Postman already, although the PO has been resolved. And so there's the EDI, but because it was transformed by Partner Manager, what I'm sending to my process API is this JSON file. And so this is the structure of our canonical JSON. And I think there's some examples in the exchange of this if you're interested, but it's got a B2B message with both a header and data. So it's got some header information here and some data. In the data case, it's a purchase order, and then I can see the different attributes of this, purchase order lines and so forth. Okay. So the nice thing about this is I'm actually creating an order in SAP, right? And so that's what this is here is I'm getting the SAP sales order number. So if let's go ahead and look at SAP here. I'm logged into SAP, and if we look at sales order, okay, so here's the sales order from SAP, and you can see that same purchase order items that were purchased. That's that in MuleSoft has created, right? So once I have the order placed, I'm going to be sending a few other documents, right? So we've sent sending a 855 back to Alps. So once again, we can see partner managers done. I can see the times and the different identifiers I pulled here. I can see the source and the target payload. So here's my 855 EDI that's going to be received by Alps. You can see my source, Mythical, my target Alps. And then we can see the next step in order to cache is my ASN here, my 856, right? So my advanced ship notice. This has been sent from Mythical to Alps, so Alps can know that, like, hey, this is how many gadgets are going to be sent back, and when, and so forth. And so that's the 856. And finally, the invoice, right? So Alps, we're sending an invoice to Alps. We've got the advanced ship notice. You're getting them, and here's the target payload that we're sending you, which is the invoice. And actually, this is kind of nice. Like, I can see the invoice amount total, right? So partner manager is able to take these business attributes and surface them to the very top. So this is really nice. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be a technical view. If I wanted a technical view of this document, I can actually go into the transmission, right? So here I can click the transmission link. You can see the endpoint, the file, the message, and then I can kind of see that message flow, how I step through each step of the process before I send it back to Alps, right? I can even look at these endpoints again if I want to, see the AS2 details and so forth. In addition, there's this like replay feature. If I really wanted to, if somebody said, oh, I didn't get your invoice, because there's actually in here, I can specify receiving a functional acknowledgement, and actually doesn't look like we're expecting a technical acknowledgement. Message type. Yeah. But anyway, I could go ahead and replay this. I could send it one more time. So this will actually send it once again. It's going to ask me to confirm. Do you want me to send that invoice again? I'm like, sure. So within partner manager activity, I can see there was an original 810, and if I refresh, after a little bit, you'll see that there's another 810 that's been sent. And so this is the replayed message. That's the little squiggle there. All right. So that's a structured 850. Let me send a few more documents, and it looks like we have a little more time to do this. So let's send an EDIFACT document. So here's a structured EDIFACT purchase order. And I'll move a little faster now that I've kind of walked through the whole process with that X12850. So once again, with EDIFACT, you're getting an MDN, which means it's been delivered with AS2. And when I look back at the, actually, let's start with Slack. So there's my Slack message. I got the Bluestone PO number. I can see what I ordered. Here's the SAP sales order, and so forth, right? So in my activity screen, you can see I got that that orders message type from Bluestone, and we sent an order response from Bluestone. So let's go do one more document type here. Let's see, we're this is Nile. And in this case, for Nile, we're sending a JSON, right? So Nile, as a company, decided like, hey, we don't want to deal with EDI, or we think that's too old school, or maybe they just weren't constrained to have to do EDI. So they're actually sending our canonical, they're using our canonical format here for the data, and they're just sending this as an inbound purchase order. So this is being sent to an HTTP listener. So in this case, you'll see I get a 202 accepted from the HTTP listener. I don't get an MDN back like I do with AS2. So, there's advantages of using AS2 for sure. So the message has been accepted. So in Partner Manager, it's here's Nile, and you can see the custom PO. Where is it? Yeah, the custom PO JSON has been sent, and we can look at the the source is what you'd expect here. It's JSON, yeah, and then the target. In this case, since it was our canonical, I did a pass through really. And then the Slack message is consistent, right? So here I've got Nile, the message ID for that, and so forth. It's still created in the SAP sales number. If we look in SAP again, let's go to sales and look at that order. So I guess I'm just showing you the consistency of Partner Manager using that canonical process API, how all the different document types are sending their purchase orders. Here's a XML purchase order, right? So inbound, it was XML. Once again, I've sent this to an HTTP listener, so I get a 202, and I get activity back here. And this is from Raintree, right? So there's my XML. One thing you'll notice here is that with each of these documents, there's this OTC orders processing partner. And this is actually a special partner we created called OTC orders processing, which is using our platform APIs. And it's actually sending some just like notifications like, hey, the process API has received this, and I'm sending it to Partner Manager. So as an activity log, I can kind of look to see, oh, well, the processing API got it and is processing it. So it just shows the flexibility of using Partner Manager with the APIs. Okay. And then one more document type, and then we're going to do, then we're going to look at a PDF, right? So here's the CSV, right? So I've taken a kind of a structured CSV, and I'm sending this again into Partner Manager. This again was sent to an HTTPS listener, and we'll see that we're going to get an order in this, Slack. There's the Slack message from Dreamy Retailer. They must sell pillows or something. But Dreamy sent the CSV over, and we can see it through the activity. We've seen it in Slack. It's again creating the SAP order. Okay, so that we've walked through kind of all the structured documents. Let's look at this PDF purchase order. So this again is a PDF coming from Gadgets World, and Gadgets World is ordering 4 line items that they've given the product code, quantities, and amounts, and it's from it's from Gadgets World. So you can see these different keys like the ship to, bill to, and the vendor, and then we've got these other keys like purchase order number, PO date, due date, and payment terms, and so forth. So these are the keys that the intelligent document processing is going to be pulling out of the PDF and sending over to Partner Manager. All right, so I'm going to give this a shot, so I've got my document here. This is my this is FileZilla. It's an SFTP client, and so I've got an empty directory here, and I'm just going to be sending my document over, and hopefully my IDP API is is working. So there my file is transferred. And let me just show you the Mule app real quick. So this is the Mule app that's listening for that file. So I've got a SFTP trigger. It's I think polling every 10 seconds. I'm just going to pull out the file data, the file name, and set up the IDP submission payload. So this is just telling us like the file name, the subtype. This is form data, and the content type. So this is application PDF. Right? So this way, IDP knows what we're sending, and then we have to submit the doc to the IDP API. And we actually created a connector here for IDP that we're utilizing. So have a reusable connector, and so we submitted the doc. So with IDP, you submit the doc, you get a 202 back, and you're not sure if it's done processing yet. And so then you have to basically poll, and here I'm going to be waiting. So I'm let's see, this is the template. I'm using the poll for result on the connector. So I use the ID. This is the ID from actually the execution ID is the ID that was from the submit. And so I'm just checking to see, hey, when is IDP finished? When it's done, then I'm going to extract that payload, and then I'm posting it to Partner Manager. So I'm using the Partner Manager listener, the HTTP listener, to send that document to Partner Manager. All right, so so here you can see I've already got a Gadgets World order received, right? So this looks kind of consistent from all the other structured documents. Gadgets World, I've got a PO number. If I look at this GW4565346, that's actually the same PO that was in my PDF, right? So that's where it's getting that info. And again, the SAP sales number, I can look at the message ID, and you'll see that this is fairly similar to the other structured documents, but the source payload, if we look at this, is going to be a little different, right? So this is kind of what's being returned from the IDP API. We can see here's the document that was processed. It succeeded, and then it'll give us a list of pages, right? So we only have one page. If it was multi-page, it would give us multiple pages. But then we just have these fields, right? And so this is, it's a JSON that we can easily use data weave to pull attributes out of, things like that, tax, purchase order date, purchase order number, payment terms. And these are all things that were set up in IDP, right? So I'll show you the IDP UI here in a second. And Ray kicked me if I'm talking too long, so I can always speed it up. Okay, and after, of course, the Partner Manager has mapped it, we've once again converted that IDP payload into our canonical JSON. So we've got our header and our data here, purchase order. We're just populating all those things that we've pulled off of that PDF document. So there we go. Okay, so let's look a little bit into IDP and how we set up this API. So within Anypoint platform, the top level, you can see there's intelligent document processing right there on the top. And if I hit get started, what you'll see is a nice clean interface. You've got the Flow the squirrel over here. I guess we're part of the Flow family for automation. And we create these things called document actions, right? So when I create a document action, we have these kind of pre-trained models for invoices and purchase orders today. For these types, it's just there's the model that will pull these fields, and it's been trained over several documents on different types of formats, right? So it works real well for invoice and purchase orders. If you have a different type of document, you can make it generic. And then if you do a generic document, you just need to train it over several whatever document types you have. So let me show you. This is the one we used in this demo, which is a purchase order for Mythical 3. And so I used that pre-trained model. From here, you can add reviewers. There's no reviewers yet, but let's say I want to edit this. And this is where I can select files and send examples into this model and see what the fields would be. And you can see the fields that we're getting as outputs. Here I've got tax, total, emails, parties by your city, by your name, and so forth. So all these different attributes, these are all part of the model, things that it's going to look for, and how it's being mapped. So the price, quantity, unit price. We're not actually mapping everything to the output response, right? So that's it. And if I wanted to like add a reviewer, say I built this, I'll send it to myself, and then I could, as a reviewer, I could just publish it. So we're just saving this, and so now I can publish this, and this will be there up for review, right? So as I could log into my portal and see this up for review. And there's my review tasks here, which I don't have any, but I would if I would have published that again. So that's kind of a view of like how to create a new intelligent document processing. Again, it's fairly straightforward. They really streamline it for invoice and purchase order, and you can train other types of documents through generic. All right. So next, I guess I'll open it up for questions, because that's our that's the end of what I had planned. Maybe there's a few more slides here. Yeah, that's right. So we want to talk about this new accelerator that we just came out with, and we basically in the exchange have published that order management system as it's GA now. If you've seen other accelerators, you'll know that it's full of different things, assets that you can use to build this on your own, and you can do it very quickly, right? So what this one kind of is encompassing is when you're looking at your end-to-end order to cash, you've got all these different channels that are supported by OMS out of the box. So you got web, mobile, even IoT, and then you've got like service, commerce, and so forth, sending orders into OMS. But with Partner Manager, as we've just seen with structured and now unstructured documents, we can send these over to OMS as well, right? So that's what this accelerator is about. It's how to use Salesforce Order Management System as the back end and send it to OMS, process that as our ERP, and then send those using process APIs. So Salesforce is order management, but then we can do fulfillment and all that stuff with backend ERPs. As is noted here, like orders, shipments, and invoices. If you choose to do like orders in one system and everything else in a different ERP. So that's kind of the accelerator, and it's integrated with IDP, intelligent document processing, and that's all GA today. So I encourage you all to check it out. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over to Ray, and she's going to talk about the product roadmap. Do you want me to keep running slides, Ray, or you want to share your screen?
I think for some reason I can't share my screen anymore. If
Okay.
you don't mind, can you forward the slides for me, please?
Sure, no worries.
Thank you. And do you want to talk about the roadmap for Partner Manager very quick?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so there's lots of good innovations coming up. This year, we're going to get API management for AS2. And we can do this currently for our HTTP endpoints, but since AS2 runs over HTTPS, now we'll be able to add policies through Anypoint API manager. So that's really great. We're going to have more granular message routing, and then a lot of customers have been asking for Cloud Hub 2.0 support. Currently, Partner Manager, if you're going to use our managed cloud service, requires Cloud Hub 1.0. So that's going to be coming out. We already run on Runtime Fabric as well for on-premise. And then, so for our maps, we're going to actually be able to save those as a configuration object and be able to manage that through different changes. So that's really great to know too. All right, so that's Partner Manager. And Ray, I'll let you talk about intelligent document processing.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a bunch of upcoming features coming out this summer and around winter this year to support IDP better. So as I mentioned, Einstein integration will be live in pilot summer this year. So if you're interested in joining the pilot program, please let us know and we'd love to get in touch. We're also integrating IDP with Flow Builder and Flow Orchestration later this year. So with this going live, you'll be able to automate end-to-end process using Flow so that you can trigger these IDP actions quickly with Salesforce Clouds. And then we also have additional document templates coming out later this year or early next year, including ID documents, which is very common for document processing flows, as well as other bank statements or mortgage documents that are also coming out later this year. And then if we can fast forward to the next slide.
Yep.
So as to how these solutions are sold today, I know pricing is always a very common question from our audience. So for IDP, it's actually sold together with our other automation tools, including Flow Orchestration, Composer, RPA, and Anypoint, Flow Builder, if you're familiar with all these automation tools. It is going to be charged by our credit system. So charged by document pages, but if you can use your automation credits for any of these tools for that suits your needs. And then for Partner Manager, you actually have to purchase another SKU for it on top of your Anypoint deployments. And then for Salesforce OMS, it's another license that comes with your Commerce Cloud. And then finally, I have some other content slides that are coming out in the future. So there are a bunch of IDP content that are coming out in May and June. I'm sure you probably already seen some of these, like the blog post and webinars. So be sure to tune them in. And then Akshara is also doing a bunch of technical blog series. So be sure to check them out if you're interested to learn more about IDP. And then finally, next slide. So we'd love to see your content around IDP and Anypoint Partner Manager. As I mentioned, nominate your customers or let us know if you're interested in the pilot program for Einstein for IDP. We'll also have a free product trial open up very soon. So that will give you access to try out the feature if you don't have our automation bundle currently. And then finally, we have a webinar coming out for Partner Manager next week on May 29th. We'll be talking about how you can use Salesforce OMS, like John just mentioned. So be sure to check it out if you're interested to learn that use case. And I think that is our content today. We can open up for questions. I do think there are a few coming already on our Q&A tab. So I can read them through. I think, Mark, yes, we would love to have you join our Einstein for IDP program pilot. Yeah, the best way to do this is probably to reach out to your sales teams, or you can also let us know through your community group. And we'd love to bridge you with our PMs for IDP. And I also saw a question from Chandan. Is it possible for developers to build their own output templates apart from their ones provided by MuleSoft? I assume this question is around MuleSoft IDP templates. So in IDP, there is a section for you to automate your generic documents that is not purchase orders or invoices. So yes, John, thank you for joining it. So you'll be able to configure it and customize it for your needs for other documents that are not supported today by templates. And then I think James has a question around what partner manager is in general. John, do you want to answer this one?
Yeah, sure. So if I bring partner manager up again, every time you are setting something like these host parameters, my partner information, defining message flows, that's essentially all metadata, and that metadata is going to be used to both do the routing and the processing of documents. And so I'll get real quickly, I'll just go under the covers and show you in our docs what partner manager looks like, because you asked, and so I'm going to tell you. So here, right here in the docs, we've got the partner manager architecture. And I think this is important to note for a lot of reasons, right? So partner manager is actually a collection of processes. And I know this is a little small, so I apologize, but you've got these different protocols that are listeners, both senders and receivers to your trading partners. And then in the middle, we've got this document processing service. The document processing service is applying the mapping, and it also does the routing, right? Then once it's done that translation, it's going to send it to some system, to our backend system, over a different protocol. So I could be receiving on AS2, sending on SFTP. So this architecture, then when I want to add, let's say I want to scale to 1,000 trading partners, just to use a big number, I'm not going to have 1,000 mule flows or 1,000 mule processes, right? So this scales very well. It's more efficient with the cores. And so overall, it's going to cost you a lot less development time than just using our X12 or Edifact connectors. And it also has all the benefits of in partner manager. This is the top thing, which is our kind of our web UI. I get all this goodness of the activity view. And one thing I didn't show, there's a lot more to show with partner manager, but you can filter on all kinds of different things. Like you can even filter on buyer email. If I just wanted to look at a particular PO, I could do that. So it's pretty nice way to do that. I can just look for XML orders. I don't have any of those, but you can just do a lot of kind of nice filtering. And that's something that if I was building this all from scratch, it'd be hard to do. Okay. So hopefully that answered the question. It's probably a long-winded answer for that.
Thank you, John. Super helpful. I think there are a few more questions from Mark. When creating document actions in IDP and using one of the document types in the list, like invoice, does it have to be a specific format, or should Einstein be able to try to extract data from any invoice format? That is correct. So, sorry, you don't have to be using a specific format, but you might need to configure it a little bit if they're all coming from different types of formats. And if there's any errors or any data that comes under the threshold that IDP is able to recognize, it will route to human reviews for your teams to further step in and see if there's any configuration needed further. So short answer is no, you don't have to always use the same format.
So if a document came in that wasn't recognizable for some reason, it would show up as a review task? Nice. Okay. Here's another question. In your Anypoint flow, where you invoke IDP and wait, how does it work in terms of synchronous HTTP request response for the customer? Example, regarding timeouts. Right, so especially if IDP implementation has a manual review stage, right? So I guess that's the point to note is IDP is not necessarily built to be request response, right? So that's why we've done this submit, and then we're waiting for this to be successful. In my experience, it's pretty quick. But like Ray just described, if there is the case where there was a manual review, then I think if I was writing client code that was corresponding with customers, maybe from a web page or something, I would want to like have some kind of a status like, hey, this has to be manually reviewed or something like that. And then I would probably try to include a link back to the IDP console, or maybe an email for somebody that's on the IDP team, or however you're communicating, so that you can kind of complete that end-to-end process. But yeah, so that's kind of why we have this until successful, waiting for this poll to work and get this succeeded. Right. It looks like those are oh, there's another question. Hey, John Van saying, how can we get access to this example for IDP? Is through publishing it through Exchange. Yeah, and so this example is just something we're showing for demos. I think from Exchange point of view, probably the best thing to do would be look at this accelerator. And let's just quickly go there. If we look into the Exchange and look for all assets, this would be the waiting for my look for accelerator for retail, lots of accelerators, accelerator. I better get more specific. There's other OMSs. So, accelerator. I should have had this pulled up already. There it is. Yeah, so in here, there's the details here for using Partner Manager with EDI. And actually not sure that there's any IDP assets in here quite yet.
I think it is a separate IDP action, I believe. So if you publish IDP as an action in Anypoint Exchange, you can invoke it directly, just as how you're currently doing with OMS.
Okay, so IDP is an action.
Yeah.
Here, okay. Da-da-da. Oh, so this is our API. And MuleSoft IDP. Okay, so this is the, yeah, interesting. Yeah, so when I published it, it actually published the endpoint to the Exchange, right? So from my IDP, when I publish it, this API here then is published to Exchange. So this is what I can use. This is what I'm using in my Mule app. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that is all our questions today. Isabella, do you have anything we should address?
No, I just want to say thank you to you both for being here today. As you can see in the chat, it's been very informational, very informative. Folks are loving the content. Thank you so much to our presenters for being here today, but also thank you to you all, our community, for joining us here. We know you all have lives, jobs, families, responsibilities, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here to learn about our new products. And stay tuned. I'm hoping to learn more about the process for requesting access to the trial program. I'm going to contact our PM, and I'll have more information for folks in our MuleSoft community soon. I'm getting a ton of pings behind the scenes of folks wanting to try out the product. So I will do my best to get that information to all of you as soon as possible. Again, thank you all so much for joining us, and that adjourns today's meeting.